Hello, everyone. My name is Maya Francis, and welcome to Helping Your Teens Enter the Workforce, brought to you by Generation USA in partnership with the Parent Academy for DCPS. I am so excited that you all have chosen to join me this afternoon, this morning, whenever you are watching this. It is going to be beneficial, I hope, for not just you as a parent or a caregiver, but for students as well. So let's jump right into things. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So again, this is preparing your student for the workforce or helping them enter into that workforce. My name is Maya Francis. I serve as the Climb Community Coordinator at Generation USA, and I'm looking forward to being able to share more about my organization as well. Just a quick overview. The hope is that participants will learn resources to assist youth in going into the workforce for the summer and or post-graduation. So all of the seniors out there, congratulations, class of 2021, and welcome to the workforce. Before we start, a little bit about Generation Jacksonville. So, Generation USA is a nationwide workforce development organization. We are literally everywhere, you guys. Here in Jacksonville, we focus on through two programs: IT Help Desk Technician, which is 12 weeks long, Administrative Medical Assistant, which is 6 weeks long. So each of these programs, we offer certifications for your students if they're interested. It's 18 and up to aid them in starting a career in, again, the IT field or the medical field. And again, this is 18 and up. So not just for your students, if you may know of any individuals who are interested in jumpstarting their career or really even just changing some things around, would love to have you all. Our programs are free of charge, and then students or participants also receive a stipend throughout their time with us. For more information, visit us at www.generation.org. All right, let's go right into things first. Finding the opportunity that's right for your student. The actual job search, right? So I've provided a couple of resources that were brought to you by coj.net. First up is the Mayor's Youth at Work Partnership. So unfortunately, this year the application pool has closed. However, I wanted to still provide it for any future students that may be interested in applying. It's the age requirements are 16 to 21, and again, the 2020 summer application dates were April 6th through May 5th, but there is a link provided. So maybe there's an opportunity for you to kind of explore more and see if they're still accepting applications. Who knows? You never know until you try. But the goal that I love about the Mayor's Youth at Work Partnership is that it's to build the talent pipeline for our local economy by connecting young adults with education and employment career pathways that prepare them to meet the skill demands of employers while leading them to workforce success. So there are a number of employers that are partnered with the Mayor's Youth at Work Partnership that vary from retail, small businesses, local businesses, etc. So an amazing opportunity for your students to gain that experience needed in a way that will really help them moving forward and then also building our economy here in Jacksonville. While you're on the coj.net page, they have a youth resources page. When I tell you this was so beneficial to me, the youth resources page on the right hand side of the page on the screen, you'll see are several free helpful resources to plan your education and career pathway. Three that I really wanted to know what are Career Source Northeast Florida. So, Career Source of Northeast Florida offers several resources for young job seekers. They have a career track tool that helps them develop an action plan for success. So, parents, when you're thinking about, okay, how can I get my student to really be prepared for the workforce? What um, needs to be the first step, the second step, the third step, etc. The career tracker helps really identify that guide to identify the career goals, the challenges that could be that could present themselves, and assessing other resources to get you on the path to successful employment. Another that I wanted to highlight is LinkedIn, which is a professional network website for job searchers, recruitment, and it helps with connecting with colleges and then potential employers. So a lot of people are familiar with Monster, um, Indeed, a number of different platforms that are used for job searches. I would highly, highly recommend going on to LinkedIn as well to begin that job search, and they also have tools and resources that will help as well. And then also from there, your student can create their own LinkedIn profile, and I'll talk about that a little later. But that is like a living resume, and it's easier to start now to get that going. Lastly, my next move. So, my next move allows you to explore careers based on your personal interests and training. So, for all of the caregivers out there, if you want to really assist your student in exploring opportunities, maybe take some personality tests or assessments that can really dive into what their passions are, my next move will is includes all of those things and so much more. Now, after you have explored Indeed, LinkedIn, etc., or maybe even before, I want to highly recommend the importance of working your network. So, I found this article on thebalancedcareers.com that shares how to get your first part time job for teens. However, the nuggets, the gems that are on this website are not just, I would say, for first part-time job seekers, but it can be for internships and other opportunities, volunteer opportunities as well. So one of the tips that I would like to highlight is the importance of tapping your network for leads. So, networking is always a good way to get started in the workplace because we all know that sometimes it's not what you know, but it's who you know. The first tip shared from, again, thebalancedcareers.com is to reach out to any of your friends who are employed. This is for my students, and inquire about their experience on the job. Do they have a good relationship with their manager? Is it a nice place to work? If so, ask if you could visit their workplace while they are on duty and receive an introduction with their supervisors. Personal introductions are so important and are so meaningful and leave a lasting impression because now you have an opportunity for your current individual who you're work the current individual to make again that personal connection with you as their friend, as their colleague, etc. So now this person can speak on your character, on your personality, on your work ethic. It's just a solid space to be. Ask your parents if they have contacts at local employers who might be hiring. So, parents, if you have any friends that are entrepreneurs, if you have that own a small business, even a large business that are looking to hire students to give them that experience, whether it be an apprenticeship, an internship, or a part time job, working your network is very important in that space as well. And, parents, that's how you can tap into things. Also, contact neighbors, teachers, counselors. coaches, ministers, and even family contacts and ask for suggestions about people or employers to approach. And again, like I said before, ask for introductions to any promising individuals. Those introductions are always personable. And again, it gives you an opportunity to even meet your potential supervisor prior to interviewing stages. So more opportunities to consider according to hip2save.com. So it's so easy for students to go straight into like working at fast food, grocery stores. This is a list of examples to kind of expand your mind. Um, I am such a supporter of entrepreneurship. So if you have a student that already has skills and abilities and they want to really hone in on those over the summer, allow for them to have space to do that. A prime example is a lawn care service, or purchasing a lawnmower and starting that, landscaping. If you have already served as a babysitter, maybe this is a good opportunity to go into child care assistant or camp counselor. So connecting with the local community centers, the local churches that are presenting opportunities for camp counseling, Boys and Girls Club, The Bridge, Mally V. The list goes on. There's so many opportunities for you to get connected as a camp counselor, but that is an amazing opportunity for you as well. Again, office workers, lifeguards, swim instructors. So if you're a swimmer and you want to stay in a space that you're passionate about, that may be a hobby of yours, going into the community pools. And seeing if there's opportunities for you there as well. So, just a couple of examples that are moving outside of the fast food, moving outside of the retail, and possibly going into entrepreneurship as well. All right. So once you have solidified your opportunity, next up is getting that resume together. I cannot stress enough how important it is to, again, begin to, for parents or caregivers to assist your student in developing a resume early on. Resumes do not have to be inclusive of all of job opportunities. It's important to think about things that they are doing right now. I would say format, of course, is key. This example is modern, it's clear, it's concise, it is straight to the point, it has visual aids. This is what recruiters are looking for. So be sure to include the following. Of course, your contact information, must haves, phone number, email address, first and last name. Other things for me, I would say, are optional. A lot of people are not including their physical addresses on resumes anymore. However, if you feel comfortable, definitely feel free to do that. LinkedIn isn't optional, but again, like I said before, I highly recommend it because on your LinkedIn page can serve essentially as your living resume. So everything that you include on your physical resume, you can include on your LinkedIn, and it's also easier to apply for jobs on LinkedIn if you already have everything presented on your profile. Because, like I said, your profile can serve as your living resume. So it's one click of a button, and you are good to go when most job searches on LinkedIn. Of course, add your education when you plan on graduating. For my seniors, class of 2021, put your information in there, and you are good to go. Clear objective, very important. What are you applying for? Are you applying for an internship? Are you applying for a part-time job or a volunteer role? Make sure it is clear and concise in your career objective. As you can see, this individual wrote responsible and ambitious student. They have a 3.8, 4.0 GPA with excellent time management, seeking to apply my customer service abilities and project/event planning skills to the business development summer internship at your company. possesses proven communication skills and strong work ethic that will aid your company in meeting its milestones. I love this career objective because again it focused on what they were clear on what they were applying for, which is the business development summer internship. You can list the company if you would like. They shared some skills that may not be able to be shown on a resume. So they said that they have excellent time management. They have customer service skills and abilities, and that project and event planning skills. So whatever skills that you would like to highlight that are comparable to what you are applying for, try to include that in your career objective, because again that's the first thing that the recruiter or the hiring manager is seeing on your page. Also, if you do not have any work experience, this is a great opportunity for you to highlight your volunteer experience. If you have volunteer experience, if you do not, this may be a great summer for you to explore those opportunities and gain some to be able to share and also I would say volunteer experience is just it allows for you to be a well-rounded individual. You can practice to see what career paths you want to go into in the future to gain that real world experience. So if you do not have volunteer experience, then this portion would be blank. However, if you do, think about even, have you served in your church? Have you served in within your school, assisting out in the summer? There's so many things that could qualify as volunteer experience. So really open your mind and exploring to see what you have experience doing. Outside of that, you can list your extracurricular activities. Again, this individual is well rounded, model United Nations, student council, National Honor Society, excuse me, and business professionals of America. You can see the clear pathway with this individual in terms of their interest in business. Their relevant coursework shows the same in terms of intro to business, entrepreneurship, and computer applications. So, any relevant coursework, be sure to include that as well. And key skills, in addition to that, I love how they included their key skills more so on a scale to see their proficiency level. There are a number of different templates for free with resumes that you can Google search, or you can go onto Microsoft Word and they provide templates, excuse me, as well. Last but not least, include your any awards that you have. And I've already went over a little bit about the key skills, but think about the classes that you have taken when you're thinking about your key skills. Most students have to take a foreign language. What number are you on? Are you on one, two, three, beginner, intermediate, experience, etc.? And include that for this individual Spanish, but if you have taken German, if French, etc. Include that. If you have taken your mandatory computer classes, if they are still doing that, include that. Like, are you familiar with Microsoft Office, the suite, Publisher, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, etc. Add that to your key skills. And also, students, note social media can be a key skill too if you're applying for something that requires for you to be media savvy. So I would definitely look into adding those to your key skills as well. Here are some resume resources that are my top favorite. First, onetonline.org. I learned about this website when I was in college working at the Career Center, and I have never looked back ever since. Onnetonline.org provides you with so much information to tailor your resume to your experience. For example, for if you're thinking, okay, I remember volunteering at the Children's Hospital. I was a front desk clerk, but I don't remember everything that I had, all of my responsibilities as a front desk clerk. You can go to onnetonline.org, type in front desk clerk, and a list of responsibilities, tasks, and duties will pop up. All you have to do to tailor it to your resume, copy, paste, and add, make any adjustments because we're not plagiarizing. Add any adjustments to make sure that it's suitable for what your roles and responsibilities were. And you can do that for a number of different positions, titles, etc., and it will do the same thing. I also love onnetonline.org because you're able to search different positions and see the salary scale, and just a number the typical benefits. So for caregivers, parents, this is an amazing resource, not just for your students going into the workforce, but for you as well, if you are ever if you ever need some additional assistance. Again, I shared before, Career Source, their website, they have a number of different downloadable pamphlets, templates, etc., that will help when you're going into your job search. And then also LinkedIn and Purdue Our Resume Workshop are both online resources that will assist with resume, mock interviews, etc., as you're preparing. All right. So now that we have gotten our resume out of the way, it is not perfect, but it is exactly how we need it to be to land our first interview. We're going to go into mastering the job interview, which I say there are three important A's that will help you master the job interview: your attitude, your attire, and your attention to detail. I call this new age interviewing because we are now in a virtual space. So it's important to include those virtual elements as well. First up is your attitude. I am a definitions person, so attitude is defined as a position of the body or manner of carrying oneself, a state of mind or feeling, disposition, excuse me, the way someone views something or tends to behave towards it, often in an evaluating way. And the last one, a position of the body indicating mood and our emotion. So, what we want is to have a positive attitude going into our first interview. Not remember, 99% of the battle is getting yourself into the right state of mind. So these are just a couple of tips that I recommend in preparing you for your interview. Let's go into the before. So if possible, set aside time to yourself. Parents, caregivers, I highly recommend creating a space for your student to be able to set aside for themselves prior into going into their interview. They can practice positive self-talk. If you would like to introduce them to affirmations, meditation, taking deep breaths, etc., all of these are valuable tips to prepare them and prepare them to have a positive attitude and mindset prior to their interview. What I like to do is go to a body of water. I don't know what it is about the beach or the river that calms me, where I can take those deep breaths, that I can meditate on what it is that I want to gain from the opportunity or the experience that I'm going into. I speak a lot of affirmations to myself in terms of I can do it, I'm confident, I'm loved, I'm enough, etc. Again, to really put me in that positive mindset. But I advocate for this. So parents, please help your students in being able to develop that space and time for themselves in preparation. All right. During during your interview, engage firmly with the individual or individuals you are interviewing with. Make eye contact with them, listen attentively, smile like them. Now, sometimes I will admit They do not smile all the time. They may look a little stern, but be yourself. Show the real you and be confident. Lighten the mood where you can. When I lighten the mood, I try to find areas that I can connect or relate with the individual that I am being interviewed by. So I am a graduate of Florida State University. So if I see some Seminole gear anywhere in the mist, I'm going to highlight that. I love children. So if I see some family pictures, definitely complimenting within reason. I never want to cross any boundaries, but that's just a couple of examples of how I lighten the mood where I can. Never criticize, never complain, agree with the interviewer when you feel like you need to, and actually be positive. You do not have to fake it until you make it in this space. Actually be positive, come in with a positive mindset, and also know this: when you are going into an interview, yes, they are trying to see if you are a good fit for their company or their organization or their position that they're hiring for. But this is also an opportunity for you to say, hey, am I a good fit for this? Is the culture comparable to my morals, my values, etc.? For me, that kind of lightens the load, because I mean, in a sense, I'm interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing me. So that helps. If that helps, take it and use it. Next, after attitude, is your attire and or your appearance. So note, appropriate interview attire will vary according to the opportunity you are applying for, so it is important to do your research. But here are some of my favorite in person and virtual looks that you can consider. So the top one is a business position. So if you're going into, a business corporate internship or full-time, part-time job, if their culture speaks to them having business professional attire, this is an option for you. So full suits, blazers, button downs, the whole nine. Excuse me. If you're going into more of a part-time position where the culture is a little more lax, it gives you room to be creative. The second option gives you that space to kind of show your style, put in a little color here and there. I love me some color, but it's an opportunity for you to kind of really deviate from that business, the what we know of as business professional, but to take a step down, a little more casual. And then the last option, excuse me, is more of a business casual look. So you can see that the gentleman has on a nice blazer, tie, some slacks, and then the woman with a nice button-up cardigan or her little polka dots and some nice pants and flats as well. But again, always do research on the organization or the opportunity that you're going to so that you can be aware of their culture. Because what we don't want to happen is for you to go into to be overdressed or underdressed. So, rule of thumb, whatever position you're applying for, dress one level up from that. And then also, it's just think about what your supervisor or your boss may be wearing on the day to day, and kind of gauge your attire on that. But again, that research, asking your friends who may be already working with the organization or anyone that you may know, or if anything, calling HR. Do not be afraid to call HR and get that information from them as well. So also consider grooming. So how is your facial hair, your hair in general, your hygiene, especially if you're in person, excessive jewelry, makeup usage. All of these things are just things to consider because at the end of the day, you want all of the focus to be on what you're bringing to the table. We don't want any distractions. And again, like I said, this is for in-person and virtual looks. Keep in mind when you're virtual, all they're seeing is from your torso up. I said that because I'm guilty of wearing My pajama pants. But don't be like me, you guys. Do not be like me. All right, so attention to detail when going virtual. So we know that this is a new space that we're in, this virtual space. So when you're preparing for your interview in a virtual manner, these are just some key things that I wanted to note, to consider, and then some recommendations as well. So most businesses, organizations are using Zoom as their platform, but others are Skype, Microsoft Teams, etc. But this is just a visual to show, in reference to what we use the most, which is Zoom. So always remember to have a professional profile name, your first and last name. Consider your personal background. So with the Zoom setting, you can choose a background. Nothing too crazy. Something simple. If at your home or wherever you're doing your interview does not, I would say, if I would use these if you are located in a space that does not have a solid background. For example, if you are doing your interview and your only space is in the kitchen, but then the people can see your parents going to get something to eat, your siblings heating up food in the microwave, that is a hard no. We want to eliminate any background noise, any background distractions. So again, that's when I would say, recommend using, the virtual backgrounds, or just finding a spot in your home where it's facing a wall. Also consider your lighting. A lot of people are using ring lights to make sure that we can see your face as an interviewer, or if you can, have natural light. So if you're at a window, having the window in the front of you versus in the back of you, so people can actually see your face. And like I said, try to eliminate any background noise, possible distractions, kids, dogs, phone calls, etc., when you're preparing for your virtual interview. Prior to, recommend downloading and get familiar with the app or software ahead of time. Log in early to check your sound, your mic, and your camera. And then also, always check your internet connection and the access to your link, so that prior to, if the link is not working, you can send over a quick email to the individual letting them know, so that again, you are, showing them that you are ready and prepared. Parents, is in a great space for you to intervene and to connect and to help your student, to do everything that they need in order to land that interview in that virtual space. All right. Attention to detail when answering questions. So, we just talked about attire, our attitude, everything that we need to do before and during. This is a good rule of thumb when you're actually in your interview. So, what's one thing that I would recommend is utilizing interview techniques. You can Google search interview techniques that will help you answer certain questions. However, the one that I want to focus on today is the STAR interview technique. The STAR method is used for situation based interviews. So, what is the STAR method? S, situation, think of an appropriate situation. Task, assess the task which cropped up within this situation. Action, what action was required to fix the problem by you specifically. And results, what was the result of the three previous steps. So, parents and caregivers, this is an amazing opportunity for you to help your teen. Again, what we're talking about, enter into the workforce by providing them with opportunities to practice the STAR method. Again, situation based questions. So, when an interviewer asks, has there ever been a situation where you insert what it was, what was your response? This is the technique that you would use to answer questions that are around that mimic that, right? Also, be aware of your attributes, sample attributes, communication skills, team skills, customer service, initiative, adaptability, promotability. And I will also say, be able to think ahead of time of when you have actually had to utilize those attributes, because I'm sure there may be a question that comes within that space as well. Lastly, when you're paying attention to detail, when you're answering questions, create a space where for you to share any research that you have done on the organization or the opportunity. So prior to, I always look up what they're doing, right? Are there any recent projects that the organization has worked on, any partnerships, etc.? And then being able to highlight those within the questions that are answered, or as my follow-up question, asking, well, I saw that you all have just partnered with this organization. What does that look like? How have you all been moving forward with the partnership, etc.? It shows that you have a great interest in what it is that they're doing, and that you're passionate about it. So if you can find a way to share your research and the questions, you're on to the right path. All right. So practice doesn't make perfect, but it does allow for you to not have as many mistakes. So I briefly shared the importance of practice and mock interviews for the caregivers to come in and assist students. This is your space. This, when I say it's your space, it is your space. So either for the caregivers, you can come in, or for the students, you can grab a friend and have a mock interview. Within this time, you are recording yourself, you're inviting critique, or if you do not have a friend or the caregivers, if you wanted to hire a professional, this is the opportunity for you to do that as well. But I cannot stress enough the importance of practicing. Again, it does not make perfect, because perfect isn't a thing, but it does allow for you to be more prepared. So here is some of the questions that we have put together in terms of a question bank for a generation that you can practice with. These are very general questions. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your greatest strength and a growth area. Why are you interested in this company and position? Where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 5 years, etc.? And then on the right hand side, you'll see that there are notes on how to answer those questions appropriately and the context for the question. So, for example, tell me about yourself. The note says, this is not a story of your life, y'all. Not a life story. You should discuss your schooling if you have graduated and work relevant work history, or even your volunteer experience. This is an amazing opportunity to share that. That ties into the position that you are applying to. Again, that ties into the position that you are applying to. That's very important to note, because again, it's so easy for us to just go on a tangent with a question like this, but this technique or context allows for you to hone in and go right back into why you're there. And then another example I wanted to share is to tell me about your greatest strength in a growth area. Be sure you understand the strengths from well, this is an example from a character survey that we have, but if it is helpful for you to write out some strengths and some areas that you really want to grow into, not always thinking about your strengths and your weaknesses, but what are some things that you want to really devote some time into? Time management, organization, etc. Focusing on those and being able to write a list of both the strengths and the growth areas so that you can be able to properly answer that question as well. Lastly, always say thank you after you have completed your interview. I am big on follow ups, whether that be on email or a physical card, but share a thank you to whomever has interviewed you to be able to make that lasting impression. You can share your follow up information within that space and time. You can also just really thank them for the opportunity and ask what the next steps will be, what to expect, etc. But that's an amazing opportunity for you to, again, wrap up and pay attention to detail by saying thank you. And with that, I would like to thank you for attending, helping your teens enter into the workforce. Again, my name is Maya Francis. I serve again as the Climb Community Coordinator with Generation. If you would like to connect with me, I have included my email address below, maya@generation.org. Would love the opportunity to share more with you about our programs and what we're doing within the community with our Climb initiative. All right. Thank you all again. I hope you have a great day. And I look forward to seeing you the next time that Generation USA hosts another opportunity workshop session with Parent Academy. Enjoy the rest of your day.